Risers, it's time for a little bunny update. She's been doing some pretty fun things, and I'm going to share with you guys a few tips and tricks to do some fun things with your horse. So first up, this is working on liberty with guiding your horse, guiding their cheek. So it's called a cheek hold, and you can do it while you've got a halter and a rope on. But essentially, you're practicing being able to guide your horse even if you had no halter or rope attached. And so you get your horse comfortable with having your hand on their cheek and being able to guide them. And the idea is that you practice this when they're already calm and get them used to you being close to them, being able to have your hands on them and guide them around. So that way, if let's say you're out in the field and you want to guide them when you've got no halter or rope, they're already used to what that means. Here's another super fun one, which was teaching Bunny how to play fetch. I think this is so darn adorable. Basically what we do is take a handkerchief or take like a dish towel, something like that, and put a few cookies, like horse cookies or grain or something in them, or some carrots, and it entices the horse to want to pick it up or want to kind of grab it with their teeth. And so the idea is to get them interested in the cloth. Of course, here Bunny is kind of just looking like, what do you want me to do? So Katie's showing her like, I want you to look at the cloth, look at the cloth and look at what's in the cloth. Takes a little bit of redirecting to get her interest, picking it up to kind of show her that it smells good. There's got to be good things in here. And then after a little bit of patience, you're going to see her start to realize that maybe she needs to think about this little cloth. But first she's got to rub her nose on her leg, which can be a sign of releasing a little bit of tension. And then she investigates the little cloth and smells some yummy little goodies there and can give it a little bite. And the idea is once the horse gives it a little bite, you want to take that and swap it for a cookie for them. So that way they get a really quick reward. So see, she got a little cookie there. She grabbed it with her mouth, and then she got a cookie right away to try to reward that first thought of grabbing that little cloth, that little thing for her to have. Switching gears here, now this is my little one riding Bunny, and just kind of shows you a little bit of how helpful it is to teach your horse some liberty things, because my little one is not really steering Bunny all that much. Bunny's more taking guidance from me, following me where I'm going and taking those little cues. And I love how careful Bunny is. Look at how slow she's walking. And then she comes over to check in to get her cookie. So she's being super tolerant of my little one up there. You can see my little one tries picking up the reins and tries steering, but those cues are not really super helpful. But instead, I give Bunny a little bit of a cue to guide Bunny where to go, while my little one tries to figure out what it is that she's supposed to do with those reins and steering. Definitely something to work on for sure. But this was filmed probably a little while ago before she was practiced on some of this steering stuff. So all in all, combining our liberty training with little people training, teaching her where to go. Bunny gets to have her cookies. I love praising horses for being tolerant of little people learning what to do, because I want them to see it as a good opportunity, not just, oh no, here comes the little person again. So here is my older daughter taking Bunny for a little ride and working on her trotting. Now, her feet don't really pass the saddle there, which makes it a little bit harder to ask her to go trotting. So she is holding a little crop so she can give a little tap tap with her feet not passing. And I love that Bunny is very quiet and chill, and if anything defaults to walking, to be like, do we really have to keep trotting? So you can see Evie does those little flaps with her legs, but because her legs they don't even really reach the bottom of the saddle there, they're on the saddle pad. So you can see she uses that little tap tap on the neck to reconfirm, like, yep, it's time to go forward and time to trot. So this is where it's helpful to teach these cues to your horse. They don't get offended if you pick up a crop and you give a tap tap, because in this case she's not doing it to smack her, like she's not in trouble or something like that. It's more to ask her to go forward so she can feel that cue and know that that's what it means. Because here's a great example where like you can see her feet literally are not even sort of on Bunny's body, so it's more of a rhythm thing than an actual feel cue. And what they're doing right now is turning around on these poles, practicing the steering, being able to walk around the different poles. And you can see she goes forward there over the last one. So practicing the steering and the turning, giving that visual cue of where to go. And then they also get to work on some of that trotting stuff as well. So as they're coming around here, they're going to go for another little trot. I find that when we're doing something that is challenging for the horse, it's super important that we give them rewards. And depending on the horse will depend on what's challenging for them. But just like you and I, if we're doing something new or we're doing something that's hard for us, it's important to offer that praise. If we get that praise, it's going to help us feel more motivated. And so it's the same thing for horses. So while she's doing something that's hard for her, meaning she's being super patient with a little one, learning how to trot, get her balance. She had her reins a little short there at the one spot. What we're seeing is a horse that's like, okay, like I can do this kind of stuff for you. And I love that her expression, Bunny's expression, is very soft through the whole thing. She's listening, she's trying, like such an absolute sweetheart. Of course, she does all of her jumping stuff too. So here's just a very short clip of her coming into some little bounces, doing super duper awesome. And then we also have a fun time just trying other weird things like horse yoga, because who doesn't want to try horse yoga where you can practice different positions to work on your flexibility. Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.